Welcome to the Entrepreneur Podcast, where we take a look inside the lives of the accomplished and successful businessmen and women. We'll get up close and personal with the founders of booming startups. So lean in and prepare to carry away something to skyrocket your own business. Please subscribe to our show and do leave us a review. It means a lot to us. Now, here's your host, Rajiv.
Hey listeners, welcome to the Entrepreneur Talk Show. I'm your host Rajiv Unikrishnan, and this is the show where we talk about entrepreneurship and speak to great founders, investors, and entrepreneurs. Today we have with us Prerna Gupta, founder of the Trousseau, a platform discussing all things weddings. This is the fourth show in our six-part series of the Blogger Edit, a partnership between the Entrepreneur Podcast and the digital Rosé, showcasing the journey of blogging. Welcome, Prerna.
Hi Rajiv, thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Just a brief intro. Prerna is based in Chennai and did a master's from London School. She works at PP Merchandising, pursuing fashion, and prior to that was with Google as an advertising specialist. Again, welcome to the show, Prerna, and do let us know if any gaps in the intro and what's going on in your world today.
Sure, I will. Just to clarify, I did go to the London Business School and I thought I'd be doing business for many years to come. But fashion was sort of my calling, and I just had to answer it and see where that would take me.
Great.
So while I do work at PP Merchandising full time, it's my dad's firm.
Okay.
I do also blog on the side, and this is where my journey is taking me.
Great.
Yeah.
So moving on, of course, any passions outside of work before we get into the actual product?
I think like weddings and fashion are what I'm really passionate about.
Okay.
I think the Trousseau was born from that. It's a product of just loving weddings, and it's an odd thing. People would ask me like, what do you really like? What do you love? And I would say weddings. And
Okay.
Yeah. It was like a little odd, I think, for people to hear, why weddings. But I just think that's such a happy occasion. You can't not love weddings.
Correct.
That's kind of
Great.
where it comes from.
So moving on, so tell us the Trousseau. I mean, what inspired you to start it?
So, like I was saying, I've always loved weddings and the idea of weddings, and generally like how people get really excited when there's a wedding in the family or even in your friend circle.
Correct.
And I moved back to Chennai about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
And I had a little bit of free time outside of work. So I used to just like Google random articles. And in the meantime, bloggers who had been blogging, on and off had started wedding related businesses. So that really intrigued me. And I said, there's so much happening in the wedding space currently, but there are still so many opinions that are not out there. There are things that I have to do a lot of research on, just to get an answer. And I wasn't even getting married. So
Okay.
I said, there is space for someone like me to share my opinion. So it kind of just started from, platform for me to say what I wanted to
Great.
say.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, how long have you been blogging? Primarily that and also primarily the Trousseau's only about weddings?
Yeah, so I've been blogging for a little over a year now.
Okay.
And Trousseau is just about weddings. It started out as wedding fashion only, but I realized a couple of months in that it's also about things more than that.
Mm-hmm.
So then I started doing a couple of articles on decor and like wedding planning tips. So my idea is basically to be helpful and for my information to be useful. So as long as it falls within that category and it falls within the wedding category, you could find that kind of information on my blog.
Got it. So what do you, it's a two-part. What do you like about blogging? I mean, your favorite part of blogging, and of course, what do you dislike about blogging?
So that's a really interesting question. What I love about blogging is to find like-minded people and to meet people who share similar opinions or who appreciate what I have to say. Because normally you wouldn't, especially with the kind of work I do, that's like talking about weddings. Um, I wouldn't really get a chance to have this conversation with too many people. But when it comes up that, oh, I'm a wedding blogger and oh, you're getting married next month, oh, that's great. So I've reconnected with a lot of people because of this blog of mine.
Great.
And it's been really nice to sort of help people through that phase, or even like one or two opinions of mine that they may find so helpful. It's a really great feeling. So I think that's kind of what keeps me going as well.
All right.
And what I dislike about blogging is that it's a very vague space. In most startup scenarios, also as some like you would definitely know, you do know that okay, I need to have a product, I need to do my marketing, I need to look into operations and finance. But with blogging, it's not so clear cut. And also, as in the startup space, in a regular business, you know that if you do X, Y, and Z, you can see at least a certain amount of output. Here in the blogging space, I could be writing 20 articles a day or 20 articles a week, and I may still not have enough readers.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So
that can be a little tough.
So what topics do you think you and your blog are experts in? I mean, is it everything to do with weddings, or you think there's a one space where you're really strong at?
No, definitely, wedding fashion is what I would say my forte. But I feel after having spent, I think, the last 7-8 years reading, writing, looking at different kinds of material, I do think that compared to the lay person, if you ask me a wedding related question, I'd have a quicker answer for you.
Correct.
Let me put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course, weddings are your main area of interest for your blog. So what inspires you to create new posts, and how regularly do you post?
So I try to post at least once a week.
Okay.
Because I believe especially with a niche like weddings, there is a lot of information overload. So you don't want to be that person who's posting every third day, and it also takes a lot of time to create content. And sorry, you had another part to this question.
How regularly? I mean, what inspires you to create new posts?
Oh yeah, just the fact that even one person finds this interesting or likes what I'm writing. A lot of people have written to me saying that they really like my style of writing. So that's quite nice to hear. And,
Yeah, of course.
let me say I'm a little greedy for the compliment.
Okay. So, I mean, there's so many now, especially so many wedding portals in India, wedding sites, blogs. So, how do you retain a unique voice as a blogger, wedding fashion blogger, and like carve your own niche?
Yeah, I think it can be really overwhelming when you look at how many publications and startups there are today in this space. But having said that, a lot of them are started by people with non-wedding backgrounds, except for like maybe one or two. And also, having said that, they are obviously driven by their business interest to promote vendors who they have tie-ups with or partners that they're seeking to promote. As an independent voice, I get to control what kind of content goes up on my blog. It's an ad-free blog, so I'm not making money off of promoting random brands to my viewers. I'm very, very particular about the kind of partnerships I seek to have. And I also truly believe that I'm not here to per se sell anything to my viewers. I'm here to give them advice or help them in the most genuine way possible.
Excellent.
So, being that independent voice, that's kind of what I'm looking for.
I think that automatically inspires you to create content also, right?
Absolutely.
So what's the best thing about being a fashion blogger?
There are so many great things, but I think the fact that I could be going through magazines all day, and that counts as work, or that counts as research.
Okay.
um, but jokes apart, I think just having the flexibility of my time, and also knowing that your opinion is a valuable opinion. So when you get invited to brand launches and fashion events, that's obviously really exciting to be a part of.
Correct, correct.
So
And
yeah.
is fashion a part of your everyday life?
Actually, I won't say it's part of my everyday life because I would choose comfort over fashion.
Okay.
So, if you saw me every day, you would probably not pin me down for a fashion blogger. That would not be your first guess. But yeah, definitely, it's something that's always on my mind. So
All right.
yeah.
So I guess the next question is, do you have a personal style statement? Would that be valid?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said, comfort over fashion. So comfort is my fashion. If there's something that's comfortable yet fashionable, you would find me wearing that.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, being a blogger and typical of most of the bloggers, I mean, they tend to do all their work around the blogging, SEO, marketing, everything, with photography, everything. So, you also take care of all aspects of your blog?
So, yeah, my blog is a little different from a lot of the blogs with the stereotypical blogs that we see today, because I don't do a lot of photography per se for my blog. They're very text heavy
Oh, okay.
articles.
Mm-hmm.
But apart from that, yes, I do all the graphics for my blogs. I create my own images. I do all the SEO marketing related activities. I have a background in digital marketing from my time at Google. So that definitely kind of gave me a clear understanding of what I was getting into before I actually got into it. The whole digital
All right.
space.
So, I mean, you don't do much photography, but I mean, what are some of the apps you use to edit your photos or let's say articles as such? I mean, can you share your
Yeah, sure.
article editing routine?
Yeah, so I host my blog on GoDaddy, which is quite comprehensive as far as all the writing.
Very easy.
Writing,
Yeah,
yeah,
I have a few
very
domains there. Correct.
yeah.
Okay.
So as far as writing goes, I'm happy with GoDaddy. For my images, I use a lot of Canva. It's a real lifesaver.
I've never
Uh,
used Canva actually. Is it really good?
Oh, it's excellent. And I think if you sign up for their premium services, which is a very nominal monthly fee,
Mm-hmm.
I found it really useful, and it really saved my time. So I would really recommend Canva.
Okay.
Also, on for Instagram, I've used a lot of Snapseed, and I've used InstaSize. And another really great app I came across was Snug, which actually helps you preview your feed before you upload a picture, so
Okay.
you know how it's going to fit in with your brand story, and the overall look of your
Got
Instagram
it.
feed.
Got it.
Yeah.
So you're on Instagram as True Girl. That's TROUGIRL. Okay. So what do you post on Instagram the most? Is it a kind of a copy of your blog or is it different stuff?
No, it's my Instagram has almost its own identity,
Oh,
independent of my.
okay.
Yeah, and I always meant it to be that way, which is also why the name of my blog and the Instagram handle I have are two different titles. Um, because I believe that you need to tailor your story to the platform you are present on. And I feel like with Instagram, it's such a visual content that tying it purely into my blog, which is more of a once in
Mm-hmm.
a week text heavy information, that didn't make too much sense to me. So I'm active on Instagram with like a bunch of wedding inspiration posts, outfits I like, decor I like, designers I like. Just it's just a reflection of my taste. I
Okay.
think that's the best way to put it. Yeah.
Any Instagrammers whom you really like?
Oh, absolutely. I love Nisha Kuntnani of Bridal. She is really excellent at what she does. She's a fashion stylist, but a wedding stylist actually.
Okay.
And her Instagram is a dream for any bride to be. Also, I really like the Sabyasachi and Anamika Khanna Instagrams because they're two of my favorite designers. So not mentioning
Okay.
them would not be an option.
And I mean, if there was one thing your fellow bloggers, Instagrammers just need to try, what's it going to be?
Um, I think when it comes to blogging, there is especially today when there are so many bloggers and it's such a mainstream option of it's such a mainstream career option.
Correct.
I think there tends to be a lot of repetitive content that goes around blogs and even on Instagram. So if you see a really popular blogger who's tried something that worked really well for them, I see a lot of other people trying to pick up on it or doing their own version of it.
Okay.
And yeah, the repetitiveness can kind of kill the novelty of the concept sometimes.
Got it.
So, yeah,
Okay.
that would.
So moving on to brands, I mean, what's your favorite part about being an influencer?
Of course, the fact that you're being recognized by someone and that a brand identifies you as a representative in some sort of a way, right, for their brand. So I think that's a really cool concept about having a social media presence.
Correct.
Yeah.
And what do you like best about partnering with brands?
Definitely the fact that you can choose who you want to work with, and you have that freedom, to align with the right kind of partners for your brand.
Okay. I mean, you have seen a lot of traction from brands regarding trying to get promoted on your site or at least get reviewed on your site?
I have had a couple of brands get in touch, but a lot of them were not aligned to what I was trying to do.
Got it.
A lot of them, some of them wanted to target, for example, teenagers, and I really didn't think that was the right kind of brand fit. You know, just because that's not my target audience. So yes, it kind of hurts to turn away brands and potential partnerships, but you've got to learn how to say no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, what's the most essential trait a blogger should have?
I think flexibility. Because you may need to, like, you may have days where you don't have your blogging taking up much of your time. So it leaves you open to exploring other avenues for what you could do more with your blog, and how you can improve your blog.
Right.
And then there are some days when you are so overwhelmed with like events and creating content and things like that if for someone who's looking for like a desk job or someone who's looking for a set routine, blogging is not the right.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's your advice or take on importance of quality and original content?
That's honestly my topmost priority, and I think that should be everyone's topmost priority. Like I mentioned earlier, just because something worked for someone else doesn't mean it'll work for you. And my most favorite bloggers are the people who I truly view as successful bloggers. I think one trait that they've all mastered is being authentic. And it's so important in the social media age, because there are so many people out there doing the same thing. So
Correct.
You need to be authentic.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, so you've been blogging for a year now. I mean, how has the growth been beyond expectation?
To be very honest, I was a little surprised by the data I pulled up on my Google Analytics, because as we discussed earlier, I'm based out of Chennai, but about 60 to 70% of my total readership comes from Delhi and Bombay. So that was quite surprising. I did not anticipate that. So definitely, I think the fact that weddings are such a cultural phenomenon, and my approach towards wedding is very aligned with my North Indian background. So I feel that somewhere there has been a disconnect between the local blogging sensibilities and what I do.
Correct.
It's been very eye opening to see what the feedback has been like.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. So moving on to entrepreneurship and your personal journey. So over time, who has inspired you the most?
Um, there are many people, but my dad is an entrepreneur himself, and he is my number one role model. He's created his business ground up, and he's really taught me the value of not giving up. So I think it'd have to be my dad.
And some of the best advice you've received?
The best advice. So when I was at business school, it's not exactly advice, but it's something that has helped me immensely over the last year and a half. We learned this concept of sunk cost that I think stuck with a lot of my classmates as well. So the concept was that whatever work you've already put in and whatever you've already done, don't let that influence your next decision or your next step forward. So because that is sunk cost. So all your time, money, energy is not going to come back to you. You just have to think of what's the next best thing you can do and how you can move ahead.
Correct.
So that's something that really helps me really helps giving me some perspective. When I need to make a tough decision, I'm not swayed by oh no, I've spent so much time on this article, let me publish it anyway.
Right.
Happy, I'm not happy.
It happens, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's something that works.
Any new launch or feature that's getting you excited about the blog? Anything new coming up?
Nothing new per se, but I'm looking at. I've actually been off the blog for some personal commitments for about a month and a half, and I'm looking forward to getting back to it in Jan. So I'm really excited about that. I'm working on a bunch of new content, and I'm working on a bunch of new collaborations. So I'm really looking forward to sharing that.
Great. Where do you see yourself and your blog in the next, let's say, 2 to 3 years?
Hopefully, as a more vocal, independent voice, maybe partner.
Great.
My dream brand.
All right. So moving on to part of the show, which is a quick fire round, simple, brief answers. All right.
Okay.
So when people ask you, what do you do? How do you answer that?
I say I'm a multitasker who works full time and blogs part time.
Okay. What's the first word that comes to mind when I say work?
Work, my laptop.
Family?
My parents, my brother.
Entrepreneurship?
Hard work. Lots and lots of hard work.
Technology?
My phone.
Food?
All day, every day.
Designer?
Sabyasachi.
All right. Tell us the application you're using for your travel needs.
I recently downloaded Google Trips, and I think it's a really cool app because it helps you have your stuff offline. Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite accessory you can't live without?
Oh, earrings. Always. You catch me without earrings.
What piece of tech can't you live without?
My phone for sure.
Damn, everyone's with their phone. What do you excel at that people might not realize?
I think some people don't realize what a quick learner I am.
Right.
Yeah.
And your favorite city globally?
London. London would have to be.
Okay. Finally, any last thought or piece of advice for our listeners?
I would just like to say that sometimes things don't work out, especially as an entrepreneur. It happens every other day. my biggest lesson from the last 1 year is to not indulge in a pity party and to just move on to the next thing. So,
Great. And do let our listeners know how they can reach you and also the Trousseau.
absolutely. So my website is thetrousseau.in. It's a tough word, but just Google it. Google will correct you if you're wrong. And you can mail me at contact at gmail.com.
Great. Again, Prerna, thanks for taking the time to talk to us and inspiring our listeners to start their own ventures.
Thanks for
and
having
all
me.
the very best building the Trousseau.
Thank you so much, Rajiv.
Do visit the Trousseau.in and visit us at theasianentrepreneur.com to get the show notes, and please subscribe to our show on all the platforms and leave a review on your thoughts about this partnership. Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and please subscribe to the show so you don't miss an episode. In the meantime, head over to theasianentrepreneur.com and check out show notes and other information to motivate you in your entrepreneurial endeavors.